All right, everybody, another CIRF report. You've got to buckle in for this one, folks. There's a lot of tumultuous energy out there, and the astrology is literally all over the place. But as you know, we don't just do astrology here. We also do the I-Ching. We also look at the collective unconscious. We're triangulating all these different influences to figure out what the biggest influence is. And then we triangulate again with different technologies on how to best surf that energy, actually how to use that energy for our best benefit. Now, the good news is that both the influence is very well correlated, as you're going to see. And the other good news, even better news, is that the solution is probably the best overlap we've ever seen at the CIRF report. And it's really good. It's a really great solution, in my opinion. The influence might look really scary, and but the solution is great. So in addition, I've got 4 gifts at the end of this video. So if you hang on, you've got to hang on. The first gift is just the solution. It's probably, in my opinion, the best solution that we've ever had. And in times that we have right now in the world and global affairs, we need a solution like this. All right. Anyway, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and get started. The other gifts are going to be at the end of the show. So let's look at the solution slide. This is May 7th through May 13th, and the astrology. Oh my God, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So for those of you who are going to watch this video on Wednesday night, so when I'm publishing it, tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, about 5:45, you're going to have a full moon. So boom, right off the bat, big old Scorpio full moon. It's passionate. It's deep. It's powerful, big old powerful. Then you got a couple retrogrades, few retrogrades. You've got the Venus square Neptune is going to start getting stronger again because Venus goes into retrograde. Oh, etc. We got 2 T-squares in here. We've got a tri-Earth, trine, tri-Earth. We got 6 Earth, even 7 Earth planets in a trine, and so it's like a face full of reality coming at us. Man, this energy is all over the place. So we're gonna look at the astrology day by day. But the Dreambot. The Dreambot looks like the big meme is enthusiasm. And you've got to remember that word because that's going to come back later. But it looks like collectivism versus individualism. This is important because it's matched in the astrology. This is the overlap, and it matches in the I-Ching. The I-Ching is, it may not look like so far in the influence. The influence, hexagram 29, looks like the abyss. Hey, just calling it as the coins come out. It looks deep, like a deep ravine. It looks scary, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to stay for the solution because the solution is amazing. So the astrology with the Mars square Mercury is going to produce a battle between collectivism and individual rights. The Dreambot is all over this. This is a direct overlap, collectivism versus individual rights. And that's part of the surprise. The I-Ching reading with change lines 2, 4, and 5 are going to produce this. It's going to produce the answer to collectivism versus individualism. Not a super high congruency, but the solution is even higher, and it's really exciting. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the Dreambot next. All right, and here we go with the Dreambot. This is a collective unconscious. Welcome people who are new to this. This is people's dreams, and we're looking at the collective mind. The collective mind, according to Carl Jung, is an influence on the rest of us. And so we got to put our vote in on what are you obsessed about? What are you thinking about all the time? That puts the collective mind on a track. And where this mind goes, the body follows. That was Edgar Cayce. Where the mind goes, body follows. Mind is the builder. This is the collective mind. So this is what we're creating. All right. If you look at the red arrows, skip, pro, prime, ace, pop, honor, it is alive. It is grand. It's enthusiastic. It's max desire. So this red arrows is very exciting. Now, that's not collectivism versus individualism. That's where the blue arrows come in. The blue arrows is all about collectivism. Group, represent, 3, like World War III ish. That's kind of shady, I guess. But World War III is going to, it's a group herd mentality. We're all fighting in there. Adult pockets of people, and then usually you have norms in a group. So group herd mentality is in the blue arrows. That's collectivism. And then the individualism is in the linguistics. Linguistics set number 1. 1 means personal, live, grand. I translated live into life. I think that's fair. Life. So 1 means personal, life, grand. In other words, individualism. There's nothing grander, according to collective unconscious in this linguistics, as your personal life. It's your individual freedoms, your individual rights, all right? And then 2 is, this is a little bit looser, core, meaning max desire, smart. So as you're going to see, your max desire, your individual desire, your individual seeking of happiness is going to matter in this report. All right. So both of these linguistic sets have everything to do with individualism. So you've got individualism in here, and you have collectivism, but you also have enthusiasm. So paint that picture, enthusiasm. Where are we going to see that again? Hint, hint. All right, let's talk about the astrology now. I don't want to spend too much time on this. As you're going to see, these day-to-day astrological alignments are crazy. There's a lot going on. You've got Saturn going into retrograde, Jupiter towards you. You're not going to see that this week. In the next CIRF report, you're going to see Jupiter going into retrograde. You've got Mars going into Pisces. We're going to talk all about that and what that means. We're going to see Venus going into Gemini. We're going to see Mercury going into Gemini. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Venus is going to go retrograde and is going to stay in Gemini. All right. That's a key concept, because that Venus squared Neptune is going to get back into getting more perfect, getting stronger in this Venus retrograde. And then you see all these nice green indicating trines and sextiles. This is mainly Mercury. Mercury's got all sorts of aspects. And one of them is Mercury square Mars. I guess I can put this highlighter on there. Mercury square Mars, and we're going to talk all about that. That's going to be the start of the star base, the astrological base of collectivism versus individualism. And by the way, I don't know about you guys, but I've been leading up to this CIRF report without seeing the I-Ching, before doing the I-Ching readings and being able to see the DreamBot. I've been talking with clients and other friends about collectivism versus individualism. I'm seeing hate on both sides. And it's not just Republican, Democrat. It is people who want to assert their individual rights and other people who are calling them terrorists. And so the hate is spewing back and forth. And it almost feels like all it requires is like a little spark, and this civil war could be exploding soon based on all that. But it is based in the astrology. So let's get started. And I'm going to do a abridged version of the dailies, because look at all that. There is so much there. You could do deep astrology, but still just get lost in it. So I want to take a kind of a transcendent or kind of a observer view of this. And this is obviously the full moon at 5:45 a.m. on Thursday morning, the 7th. It's a Scorpio full moon at 17 degrees. You've got it right next to the part of fortune. It's not technically within the orb of perfect or conjunct, but it's close to the part of fortunes. It's in that center of the sky in Scorpio. It's our only water other than Neptune. And Neptune is in Pisces in a trine. So it's very dreamy. Moon is also dreamy in Scorpio. So it's deep, it's subconscious. It's also very powerful. The inner power, it's the deep power. It's not your outward power like Mars. It's the deep inner parts of you that you didn't even know you had. And that's being shown to you in magical detail as you wake up on May 7th. Now, the full moon energy is going to be available for plus or minus 24 hours. And so you're going to feel this other side is very earthy. And luckily you've got Mercury in there, is a good thinker, is very curious and adaptable. And so you've got these dreamy water planets shining brightly up here, causing some stir, causing some emotions. And here's a little bit of a hint. What's the influence in the I-Ching? It's water over water. And this is it. This is the epitome of it. Moon in Scorpio is a water on water. And then you've got Neptune in Pisces, all that in a trine, water on water. It's water on water is the influence for the I-Ching. Isn't that incredible? And so it's referring mainly to the full moon. This full moon's going to linger for a while. That energy is going to be there. It's the biggest energy in the sky. It's, the Scorpio is deeply seductive. There's a hidden power. You might even feel like you're obsessive. But the neat thing is, shining a light on all that is Sun and Taurus. So it could be, it's not a whole lot adaptable in Taurus, but at least you've got some rational thought in here conjunct with your ego to be able to kind of sort all that out. All right. That's the abridged version. Later in the day, though, about 12 hours later, we're going to start to see a T-square. And this trick is where I'm worried about the major part of the collectivism versus individualism is right here, because Mars is in the trap. We call this the trap in the T-square. It's where it's 90 degrees from both sides, equidistant to both sides. And then you've got obviously the opposition with the full moon. And Mars being the center of the trap, it is a trap. You've got Mars in Aquarius. So what is that? We're fighting for the collective. This is the Aquarius is very collective. It's humanitarian. It's the greater good kind of thing. But Mars is the fighter. So you're fighting for the collectivism. And of course, ego here is stubborn because it's in Taurus, ego being the sun. And you've got this square. So Mars square, Mercury and Sun. And so we're thinking, we're stubborn, ego is very individualistic. Ego itself is what's in it for me. And you've got ego, what's in it for me, very stubborn. So you've got all that squared to each other. That's collectivism versus individualism. All you need is a little spark and boom, hopefully we don't get that spark out in the real world, because we don't need a civil war. We don't need us versus them. We have controllers that want to see nothing more than us divided. So, man, I hope that works out there so that we can bypass this. And hopefully, it's all it is just some hate spewing back and forth with social media. But it is based in the astrology. Okay, hopefully that's the end of it. On Friday the 8th. We have relationships that are having to adjust. So Venus, who is about ready to go retrograde, she's not quite there yet. She's still got this nagging square to Neptune. And, that's going to be getting a little bit stronger. Well, not yet. We'll talk about that later. Let's forget that for now. But Venus has to adjust. Here's an inconjunct. Venus inconjunct Pluto. And Pluto is with still Jupiter. So there's a positive transformation, maybe transforming back, maybe expanding back into a powerful part of your life. Maybe the collective is doing that. It's all goal-oriented in Capricorn. And so relationships are having to adjust. I'm not going to talk about this yet because these trines here are going to get massively stronger. But first on Saturday, so that was Friday. This now is the 9th of May, Saturday, T-square. The dreams are a trap now. So this is where you wake up and whatever dreams you're having or fantasies you're having or escapism or desire to use drugs, that's all Neptune. It's not reliable and it's a trap. It's going to produce more obstacles, as you can see here. And it's all, harmony based, but it's all a trap. And this is going to be the collectivism. Let's just all get along, guys. But it's a trap. Let's all get along. It's forced to get along. And it's going to create more obstacles. All right. So there's a little preliminary to our solution as well. Okay. So now check this out. We have on Sunday, the 10th, you're having a tri over here. So 3 planets over here in Taurus, Earth. And then you've got 3 planets in Earth here, all trine to each other, but Saturn's also included in there. So you've got a mega energy. I'm calling this the reality slap in the face. I bet you around this end of this weekend, you're going to have hopefully a massive amounts of reality check. And it's the cold hard truth because it's earthbound. It's what's real. This is what's really going on. It'd be like a slap in the face. I'd be surprised if we don't get a huge news coming out this weekend, or maybe starting early next week on the real truth. Okay, and then on Monday the 11th. We have Neptune. The biggest news is you still have all this big old reality check thing, this easy energy going back and forth between the earth signs. But you also have what used to be the trickster was Neptune in a T-square. Now the dreams hold opportunities. So there's actually a lot of opportunities starting with your dreams. And maybe it has to do at the same time you're getting this slap in the face of what's really happening, what's really happening in the earth. But you also have, maybe this is instigating more dreams and more fantasies of a more positive future. These are opportunities. These sextiles, these are opportunities with the dreams, with Neptune. All right. Then we've got Tuesday. I've got 3 slides for Tuesday because on May 12th, early in the morning, you're going to start to see the moon conjuncting one at a time these planets that are in close array. So Pluto, then Jupiter, then Saturn. I've got one for each occasion. But I also included here Mercury in Gemini is very early on in the morning. It's going home. Mercury is now in home. And home feels good. It's Mercury's like, finally, I can open up my mind. I can start being adaptable. Taurus wasn't all that adaptable. And this is your thinking. It's your logic. It makes sense. Things start making sense. Yes. And people start to be able to open up their mind and be able to be adaptable and that kind of thing. Meanwhile, you have Moon conjunct Pluto. So this transformation is very emotional. I'll put it that way. And maybe your emotions are very much goal oriented. You kind of want to see the end of this thing. And so you got that. Then at 5:30 a.m., Moon moves on to Jupiter. So now the emotions are feeling expansive energies. And of course, Mercury going further into Gemini. And then Moon meets Saturn. So emotions around Saturn in retrograde. So maybe laws returning to where they were before. Oh man, we could only hope. This is a global law because this is the collective. The collective foundation is getting very emotional, but Saturn is in retrograde. So is returning maybe to an earlier foundation, an earlier law, an earlier set of discipline at a collective level because of Aquarius. So watch for that. This is all very transformative energies here. And then finally on Wednesday, we have Mars going into Pisces. Oof, that's going to be like running in water. You want to get some stuff done. This could douse the whole collectivism thing, because remember that Mars square Sun and Mercury's been here the whole time, the whole week. And so the collectivism versus individualism was here all the while, but it's just now Wednesday towards the end of the week where Mars jumps into the water of Pisces. And so this might really cool some things off, but it might actually make it worse, because Pisces, what is Pisces? If you think about, if Mars is yang or a warrior or get stuff done, then what kind of context is that for Pisces? Well, it's going to be an idealistic. It's going to be more emotional. What's a warrior? What's an emotional warrior look like? Well, probably screaming and very angry. But Pisces is also can be spiritual. So we have an idealist spiritualism and a fighter. So what is that? Is that a suicide bomber? Is that a martyr? Pisces is almost a martyr anyway. So maybe you've got a martyr who's going to, the news love to have this Q supporting lady who apparently went to New York with a fully loaded car full of knives. Is anybody that crazy? I suppose so. I mean, I worked in some places that have some crazy people, but I don't know. That didn't smell right at all. But you might see some more news like that. Martyr, and hopefully not suicide bomber. But, Pisces typically is also not very materialistic. They don't really care. So this Mars here isn't going to be fighting for wealth. It's not going to be fighting for money. It's going to be fighting for a higher spiritual battle. Okay. And it doesn't mean it's just the bad people. I didn't want to make it sound like only martyrs and suicide bombers are out there. But it's going to be a holy war. How about that? Holy war. All right. Now, let's get into our I-Ching reading. Again, we threw the coins with the intents and purposes of identifying the biggest influence that all humans would feel between May 7th and May 13th. We cast the coins and we have 3 change lines. This is water over water, hexagram 29. It's the dangerous depths of the abyss. Oh my God, that doesn't sound very good. Now, you want to hear a silver lining? Let me read a little bit of the I-Ching. We're still in the influence. So the influence is like staring into the abyss. That's what the I-Ching is saying. It's water on water, like I explained with the Pisces and Neptune and the full moon and that arrangement with the trine. It's all the water. Exposure to danger brings good fortune. Those faced with serious challenges need to remain alert. They must take all available precautions and, above all, keep going forward so as to remove themselves from harm's way. The positive side of danger is that it offers an excellent chance to cleanse the senses and strengthen the spirit. Surviving a crisis can be tremendously reinvigorating, sharpening the eye and the mind for future challenges. Boy, doesn't that sound like silver lining? The water flows uninterrupted towards its goal. The abysmal water is above and below, revealing a flooding ravine that suggests danger. Ooh, that goes along with that collectivism versus individualism. We are in dicey times, and hopefully, it's like dry kindling everywhere. Hopefully we don't get that little spark that just everything goes poof up into the air. Hopefully not. When you recognize the things that you cannot change, you discover life's power to lead you. The path is frightening, but a commitment to move forward and jump into the flow leaves no option of turning back. Forced with the devastation of the old way, you are pulled back into life's greater current. When the storm set in, you will realize how much energy was wasted in worrying about each and every squall. All that remains after the abysmal will be your deeply profound connection to life. Isn't that encouraging? That's all that's left, is your connection to your life. That's all you'll have left. All right, we got to go through these change lines, so I'm going to read a little bit more and then we'll get into the solution. So hang with me, still got some gifts to give out, and one of those is the solution, in my opinion. All right, line 2, still the influence. Hexagram 29, calmly take stock of your situation and be realistic about it. When one is in trouble, it is not wise to think immediately of escape before the source of the problem is clear. Sit still, learn what you can, for this is what the time allows. Seek wisdom instead of reacting. Seek wisdom instead of reacting. Again, this isn't the solution, but it is worth noting that these change lines are very important in terms of when you see danger in this week ahead, this is the suggested action. So seek wisdom instead of reacting. Don't be reacting to everything you see. Line 4, make cooperation your primary objective. When danger is at hand, there is no need to stand on ceremony. Outer forms of polite society fall away quickly without blame. When aid in the face of dangerous uncertainty becomes the priority. In such times, simplicity wins the day. Now, you can kind of feel that inkling of cooperation, in other words, collectivism in here is sacrifice yourself for the good of the collective. But there's also the individual. It says that cooperation falls away. But anyway, the point here is it's not a good time for complexity, complex projects, or startups. Not a good time for that, according to the I-Ching. Line 5, excessive ambition takes one to the brink of danger. When the water rises quickly in a narrow canyon, think only of escape. To discover a way out, follow the path of least resistance. There is no blame. In other words, it doesn't mean just be a dead fish. It does mean that you can seek clarity, you can seek escape, but follow the path of least resistance. Keep everything simple. All right? But that was not the solution according to our other triangulation. That was still the influence. So when danger comes or the fight ensues or gets stronger, you know what to do. Seek wisdom, seek simplicity. All right, folks, here's the solution. It's big, and we're going to have a word from our sponsor first. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. All right. Well, looks like I have the wrong slide up. Well, let's do this. This is the solution. And we applied our change lines, and we got hexagram 16. This is called enthusiasm. It's thunder over the earth. What does that mean? That is loud, obnoxious. And according to the I-Ching, the Book of Changes, it's enthusiasm. Enthusiasm unleashes enormous creative energy. The effect is like powerful music that inspires a great number of people, loosening constraints and sprouting new opportunities. This, folks, is going to be the way that we fix the individualism versus collectivism. That's why I think this is the most profound solution we've ever had. You're going to see a lot of overlaps in here. We're going to look at the I-Ching, the second hexagram, which is what we're doing now. Then we're going to look at Sidereal Astrology. We're also going to read the Rave Mandala, and that one's a surprise hexagram. It's all very incredible. All right, let's continue with hexagram 16. Enthusiasm in a personal relationship or in a group generates special electricity. For instance, the crowd at a music festival is charged up, the singers scale new heights in life, and the shared experience of the moment becomes its own reward. Arouse the passionate support of others while adjusting your ideas and plans to suit their needs. In this way, you can fill your sails with mighty wind of popular support. To arouse others, redouble your dedication. So, in other words, double down on what's important to you. Double down on your values. Hold on, we got much more to go on this, but it's all about free self-expression in the context of the collective. I'll explain. So take joy in your work. This is the enthusiasm. Harness the power of song and dance in your own way. You can approach life with a positive attitude of acceptance, or you can resist and fight against it with your will. The way is much easier when you follow the path of least resistance. We've heard that twice in both of these hexagrams. Follow the path of least resistance, but it's individualism in the context of the collective. And I'll keep explaining, so stay with me. Banging endlessly against a closed door, you might discover that another door remains open. So here is the juggernaut and the overall summary of the solution hexagram 16. Unchanging. Knock on the door of enthusiasm. The joy inside will open and let you in. You are going to have a date with enthusiasm. It is a hard thing to kick start and takes momentum to keep it going. That sounds like Taurus. It's a big old engine, so it's hard to get it going. But once it gets going, you're going to get a burst of inspiration that ignites a new idea. You can be receiving a message to bring more enthusiasm and passion into your life, and an opportunity is coming. Whether you need a burst of inspiration, spiritual guidance, or an unexpected date with reality, change is coming. The good news is that whatever it is, it will lead to greater fulfillment. Enthusiasm must be grounded to be meaningful. All right. Now, just remember, I do have another slide that triangulates all these solutions together, and it'll give you a one-liner of what to do. All right. Next is the sidereal. Now, I know that we have to kind of cock your head around to get these things straight, but I lined it up to where sidereal and tropical make sense. And what we have is, this is the full moon chart, because remember, we had water over water. So we're looking for water over water, trine, water over water. And so this was the alignment. It's a perfect full moon alignment. It's the biggest energy of the week. And so we are in hexagram 1. We're going to look at what the hexagram 1 is with the rave mandala. And then as you can see, it translates into Libra. So we have our sidereal solution, which is justice, harmony, and so much more. We'll talk about that later. Let's first talk about the rave mandala and what it suggests. This is the gate of self-expression. Are you kidding me? We're back to the self, the individualism, but watch this. Individual expression, like individual insight, can only be fulfilled through interaction with others. So it's both. It's both individualism in the context of other people. It has to be with other people. So we're going to figure all this out, and it's really exciting, actually, because it answers individual versus collectivism. The role of this creativity is doing your own thing, and when and if the creativity attracts attention, it may become an example for a new direction for others. Regardless of this potential, the drive to express one's individuality to others isn't always appreciated. When in harmony, this channel contributes creative direction to the collective. So in other words, this gate of expression, hexagram 1 in the rave mandala, says express yourself. Express yourself with your highest passion, with enthusiasm. And it just might create a new creative direction for the collective. The collective will follow your enthusiasm. I'm telling you, man, this is really exciting. Now, where are we going next? We're going to the final picture here. Whoops, that was one of my surprises. We have a song associated with this kind of breakthrough solution. So let's look at the review slide before I give you the gifts for today. Obviously, the astrology was all over the place. This picture is basically a boat going into a hellish future, into the abyss. That's the influence. Collectivism versus individualism, hate on both sides. It doesn't look like there's any way out, but here's the solution. Now, I'm going to go through each individual part of this, and then I'll get to the overall triangulation. The Rave Mandala says, deep need to express. The gate demands attention. Individual expression can only be fulfilled through interaction with others. Become an example for others. Contributes to the creative direction of the collective. So, in other words, the Rave says you've got to have individual expression. That's individual rights. That's individual values. And that will contribute to the direction of the collective. Sidereal from Libra says it's about balance. It's about diplomacy. Use harmony, objectivity, peaceful. Libra is also very optimistic and extroverted, mainly extroverted. That goes along with the enthusiasm. So you introverted people, hopefully you'll feel enough energy or get enough energy to be able to feel like you can contribute and be enthusiastic, and need for recognition will be high. Not that Libra needs recognition, but that came from the I-Ching of enthusiasm. So let's get to that. I-Ching says, knock on the door of enthusiasm. Watch for the unexpected open doors. Reduce tension in your groups. There's your working out collectivism. If you want to do something for the group, start to resolve. You can use the Libra to start to harmonize the different opinions, but don't sacrifice your higher values. You take enthusiasm and you push forth what's right for you. And in doing so, according to the Rave, people will follow. And according to the I-Ching, people will follow. Enthusiasm must be grounded to be effective. All right, so here's the overall triangulation and the overall solution. We need passion and enthusiasm for what? For what's right for you, for your highest values, for what matters to you the most. Develop passion, pride, and enthusiasm, and start pushing that forth out in the open to be seen. Extroverted, be seen. Highest values. Push forth simply. Don't make it complex. Demonstrate openly your individual path, values, and rights with joy on your face. Okay, so now that we've gotten through the solution, I want to offer what's extra because we are in such dire times. We have opinions from both sides. The people who think that the collective is more important than the individual, and we have people who think that the individual is more important. So I want to offer some insights here. First of all, this is our first ever song pick attached to this particular CIRF report and specifically the solution. This is Trapped in Anomaly. It's called Come Together. And basically what it's talking about, if you want to review the solution and listen to this video at the same time, I think that'd be great and perfect. But it's about when the walls come down, it forces us to come together. And I think it's just a wonderful track for this problem that we have, collectivism versus individuality. It's let's push forth your individual unique expression, and if things fall down, we're going to pick up the pieces together, according to Trapped. That all these links to my gifts are down below in the explanation. All right, another gift is a lot of you are worried about like maybe mandatory vaccinations. I found a place to get you your rights, hopefully, and that is right here. Again, link down in the description. Freedom Taker is the name of the website, and if you scroll almost all the way down, you'll see vaccine conditional acceptance, a downloadable link, and basically this form forces the people who are administrating the vaccine to agree to take on full responsibility for the shot they're giving you, which is unheard of because, as you know, vaccinations are not, the producers of the vaccinations are totally immune from any damage. And they got that through. So anyway, this allows you to demand that the individual administrating takes full responsibility. And then here's a refusal of vaccines. All right, so that's down and below. And then the other people might be worried about face masks or individual rights. There's always a right of medical exemptions. And so I think the best form of that is called high impact flicks. And this is, I believe, Brian. And he's got a YouTube channel called High Impact Vlog. And he's really big on individualism, very big on freedom. And so if you don't like this idea of having to wear a face mask, then I highly click on the link down in the description. It'll take you here to the front page, and it's right here in the upper left. And it's just a downloadable flyer that you can carry around with you that should work. It's worked before with some other folks who have actually had to use it, and they basically, because of medical reasons, allow you to walk into the store without face masks. So again, these are gifts that I've found around the web, and hopefully those work for you if you're one of the individualists out there. All right, here's our summary slide. And gosh, I told you it was long. It went really long. I hope this made sense. I hope I was able to bring it into a simplistic form. I want to thank you for all of the support that you've had. If you haven't recognized, the last few or the last couple of videos have gotten a lot of support, and I really appreciate your shares. I appreciate your likes. Appreciate you sharing this with people who might be really interested in this content. And so thank you, everybody, and hopefully let's get through this clear danger area that we have this week. Hopefully next week will be a lot easier on us. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for being here.